There is a very particular energy that will arise for the beings who are saying yes to their mission. And this energy is one that can feel very uncomfortable when it's in the shadow expression, but the light expression is where we start aligning with infinite possibility, infinite abundance, and we start syncing up with the universal energies that are going to put us into flow. So let's talk a little bit about what this energy is, where you can expect it pop up, and I'm going to go into a bit of a channeled message on how it is you can alchemize this energy out of the darkness and into the shadow. So let's get into it. The energy that I am talking about is the frequency of doubt, the unknown. It's like we say yes to the mission, and automatically the mind resonates with that energy and starts having the story of how are we going to make this happen? What's the step-by-step plan? How is this even possible? That energy is so sacred on this path. It is something that is divinely placed in your journey. Now, here are the two routes we can take. We can either stay with that frequency in the shadow expression, but when it stays in the shadow, that first option, the split in the road, is to identify with the thoughts of the mind. The thoughts that sound like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what plan I'm supposed to follow, or maybe following someone else's plan and it's not feeling right, but you think you have to do it. So this energy, this frequency, it gets to be alchemized. And when it is alchemized, there is an opening that happens where you start receiving the exact guidance that you were meant to receive on how you're meant to do something, on how you're meant to accomplish the mission, which is not even a real thing. You're always accomplishing your mission, but how you're meant to align with the reality field where you feel synced up with the mission, where there is no figuring it out. There's no struggle. It is just you living in direct alignment with your authentic essence, sharing your gifts, and it feels freaking easy, but not easy in the way where there's not effort and action. So don't mix that up there. But let's talk about how to really alchemize this energy. When we are saying yes to the mission, let's feel into that energy that can arise. Oh my goodness, I'm committing. I'm saying yes. I know I'm meant to contribute this thing to this beautiful experience that we are all in. I know I'm meant to contribute and do this thing, but really it's energetic. You're sharing a frequency. You're emitting an energy. When you are saying yes to that, the mind, it can come in. I'm not going to say it has to, but it can come in and it will say, let's figure it out. How's this going to happen? The beautiful logic, right? That left side of the brain wants to come in and make it happen. But mission-oriented living is very intuitive. It's very energetic. So this is where, when that energy comes up, we can either fork in the road, decide what we did speak about before, which is, okay, we got to figure it out. And then we start using mind. We start using other people's strategies. We start thinking we have to do things that we really don't want to do. Or maybe we freak out and don't do anything at all, or we think we don't know what it is that we're meant to do. So that's that option. But here's the alchemy process, and here's what we can really do with this energy that turns it into gold. First off, I want you to know that that doubt, that energy that comes up of like the freaking out of, okay, I need to figure this out, it is just an energy. It is just an energy. It can feel chaotic, but it's really a beautiful frequency. Now, here's what happens when we start to feel that energy, and instead of attaching to the mind and trying to self-soothe through the action taking, you want to self-soothe first. You want to be the power that opens up the vessel. And what I mean by that is you want to be the conscious awareness, noticing the thoughts. How do I do this? How do I figure this out? I got to figure this out. And letting yourself regulate, allowing your nervous system to come into that regulated state. To imagine that you are breathing in to that energy and allowing it to exist and accepting it and honoring it. And when you start to open yourself up to just being with that energy, and you get so present. Maybe you're taking yourself out into nature, or you're meditating, or using breath work, whatever it is that allows you to just open up space to that energy, just imagining it just as a frequency. What happens from there, it's an initiation for the beings that are ready to fully receive the instruction on what it is they're meant to do for their mission. Even for me, I know that I'm being called to create these channeled messages for those that are on a mission, that are committing to their mission. And I just sat down and meditated, and I had the thoughts come up of like, what are you going to talk about? You got to figure this out. And my mind immediately was like thinking about like, okay, you have to talk about this and that. And then I sat in a 20-minute meditation, and I allowed those voices to just be, to settle, for my nervous system just to regulate. And I received the message on this exact topic. And I also received the message that I didn't have to know any more than what I received in that meditation, and that as soon as I would hit record, more would come through, which is exactly what's happening. But this requires a level of trust and a level of safety in the body. And when you start to open up and allow that energy to actually be shown the light, which is the alchemy of that shadow frequency, it's just an energy. When it's out of awareness, it's in the shadow expression. It can feel uncomfortable. When you're regulating yourself, opening yourself up, elevating your conscious, observing the thoughts instead of identifying with them, being the observer, the awareness, that is when you are more so in alignment with, I want to reword that because you're never out of alignment with light, but you are in the seat of the awareness, and you are allowing the light to channel into that energy. And this is when it alchemizes into a frequency that is a gift. And in that space, you connect in with the exact guidance, a very clear knowing of what it is that you're meant to do, because you open yourself up to receive it. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about this path that you are on. The path that you are on has never been done before. You are doing something that is so out of the ordinary that is going to require a level of trust that is beyond what you have ever tapped into in your life. I am talking the level of trust where you just know you are living in your mission every day. It is already happening. And what is going to happen tomorrow, or maybe it's next week, is going to be gifted to you. The instruction, what I'm alluding to here is the instruction. And yes, maybe you are on a path where you're actually receiving the instructions for the next months ahead. That can very much be a thing. I want you to use your discernment here. But there's a level of trust, of knowing that you can have the vision and the knowing that you're committed to your mission, but let it unfold, because the universe has your freaking back. And there is nothing that you need to do besides open yourself up and receive the instruction and then take action on that instruction. The discomfort is going to arise when you are being called to commit yourself to that instruction, because it can feel uncomfortable. You're going to be guided to do things that are out of your comfort zone, that feel stretchy because they literally have never been done before. Or maybe they have, and there's just a new way that you're doing them. There's a new energy. So trust in the unfolding. And my main message for you with this channeled message is to know that the energy of not knowing, the energy of the unknown, the energy of doubt, the energy that is coded in the how do I figure this out, is so sacred to your mission. And when we bring it into the light, when we allow ourselves to be in that discomfort while not attaching and running off and doing things that we think we have to do, there is a very clear, intuitive guidance that will come through and guide you on a path that aligns you with a reality field. I want to tune into this for a minute. That is so beyond what your mind can even comprehend right now. And I say that with my whole freaking heart and chest. You are rendering a reality field that is so incredibly magical. And I want you to feel the magic right in this experience right now. You're already in it, but it's going to continue to expand and expand and expand. Whew, I have chills. I really hope that this lands for you. If you guys are interested, I'm going to drop some podcast episodes below that act as another resource for you to dive into. And I really honor you on this path. I will be making more channeled messages on this page, really for the beings that are committing to their mission, because there is a huge wave of us that are waking up, saying yes, and going all in on the mission. I love you guys, and thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next video.